Alright, so after creating This or That, my online ranking tool, I wanted to try making a 3D game in Unity. So I decided on creating Minesweeper, because I've actually made it before in Java. If you didn't know what Minesweeper is, it's a game where you have to click on tiles and avoid mines. Each tile will tell you how many mines are in the surrounding 8 tiles, and then you can right-click on tiles which you think are mines to flag them and mark them as a mine. You have to click on every tile that's not a mine in order to win, and if you click on a mine, you lose. Now, I wanted my version of Minesweeper to be especially stressful, so I easily decided on the name Stressful Minesweeper. After doing some planning, I started the project by opening Blender and making a 20 by 12 grid of keys, which will act as the tiles for the game. I learned how to use Blender by making Mario Kart tracks, which you can find in some of my other videos. Thankfully, Blender is free, and I really recommend using it if you want to try 3D modeling. The first thing for me to program was a way to click on the keys. For this, I had to use raycasts. In Unity, you can't just click on a 3D object and expect it to interact with it. You have to have a raycast shoot out from your mouse and to the position that you want to click. This allows you to reference whatever you clicked in a block of code. Here, I was able to make a key that I click change texture. The next thing I did was have the game spawn 40 mines after you clicked on the first key. I made this block of code which runs 40 times, one for each mine, and will try to spawn a mine at a random key on the grid. If the key that it chooses to spawn a mine at is next to the key that you originally clicked on, then it will not spawn a mine and instead will try to find a different location to spawn the mine at. This makes it so that the 8 keys that are touching the original key that you clicked on do not have a mine on it. This gives the player some room to breathe at the start of the game. I set up this test to display where the mines are after the first click, and as you can see from the video, it's working pretty well. After getting the mines to spawn in properly, I started to work on the flags. For the flags, I just reused the same code that allows me to click on a key, but instead made it so when I right-click on a key, it will place a flag instead. Next, I made it so when you click on a key, the key will search the 8 keys surrounding it for mines and display the number of mines that it found. If it did not find any mines, then the key will basically click on each of the keys around it, automatically searching them so you don't have to click on them. Lastly, I downloaded some sound effects and recorded some of my own for the keys. When I put all those things together, it makes it look like I'm already done with Minesweeper. To finish off the normal parts of Minesweeper, I wanted to add a flag counter. Normally, to do this, you'd create a canvas and a text box on that canvas, which would show up in front of every single object in your scene. But I wanted the flag counter to feel like a part of the console that the keys are on, so I decided to use a world space canvas. So a world space canvas is physically in your scene, meaning that objects can appear in front of it. At this point, I just had to add a way to end the game and I would have perfectly cloned Minesweeper, so it was time to start adding new features. I started by modeling an office cubicle for the game to take place in, and I added a couple of directional lights to make the scene look a lot nicer. To make the game look a bit cleaner, I added the starting sequence where the camera pans down from a computer and looks at the board. So the game wouldn't start instantly, I decided to add a main menu by using another world space canvas. This time I put the world space canvas inside the computer monitor you start the game looking at. This game has 3 difficulty modes. Practice mode, which is just normal Minesweeper, Stressful mode, which has moderate challenges, and Panic mode, which has the same challenges as Stressful mode, but with increased difficulty. The first of these added challenges is the timer. You have a 5-minute timer to beat the game in both Stressful mode and Panic mode. However, the timer is invisible to the player. You are only given a warning when you have 1 to 2 minutes left to sweep the field. The shakes are the second added challenge. Halfway through your time limit in stressful mode, and for the entirety of panic mode, clicking on a key has a chance to shake your screen and switch up some of the key's textures. For each shake, every key has a chance to switch textures. If the key will switch to textures, it has a 60% chance to switch to using a number of mines to indicate how many mines are nearby, and it has a 40% chance of just flipping upside down. The texture will still indicate the correct number of mines nearby regardless. At some point, I added a little face in the corner of the console because it was present in the original Minesweeper game. Seeing it open its mouth every time I clicked made me want to make the player have to feed it cookies. I worked on this concept for a little bit before scrapping the idea because, as you can see here, the cookies kept falling under the map, and I did not have much time to fix that. With that idea not working out, we are left with the final challenge, the heartache. After downloading and editing a heartbeat that sounds a bit too crispy, I started programming this added timer. When playing, you are timed between each of your clicks. If you do not click on a new key in the time limit, the heartbeat will get faster and faster until it causes you to lose the game. This was decently easy to implement. I started by having a Boolean variable noonMineDug, which would become true each time you clicked on a new tile. The code would then turn it false immediately afterwards. Last click time is an integer which is incremented by 1 for every second that noonMineDug is false. If noonMineDug is ever true, then last click time simply switches to 0. If last click time was ever more than the amount of time you're allowed to spend between clicks, I'd have the heartbeat speed up and kill you. With that done and a few added sound effects, let's see what the game looks like in action. As you could see there, the heartbeat caused me to panic and click on a square which was not safe to click on. And with that, Stressful Minesweeper is done. I started working on this game on January 15th and finished it on February 27th. There are still a few bugs and things to improve like the heartbeat sound effect or the game's balancing, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is my first time trying a devlog or really any content creation, so if you guys want more devlogs for any of my future projects or if you just want brief video summaries of the projects, please let me know in the comments. The game is free to play and a download link is in the description. I really hope you guys check it out and enjoy.